I'm Rafael Kisumbing.
I'm Grace.
Representing the R users group of the Philippines.
I'm the CEO and founder of Filter.
Very excited to share AWS UG Buildhurst Plus. I'm a volunteer and co-organizer.
Very important that you have the knowledge of what's the culture that you really want to put in place.
For us, it's really about finding really great, world-class digital and e-commerce talent. The Philippines has been a very good place to be.
Technology is actually a great equalizer. The community's inspiration is that, there's a safe space.
The fact that you joined, that's already a big step.
Having the platform of a very clear vision and values and a mission of the business and empowering people to make decisions.
This will not be the only episode that you will see. We will have a lot more. I'd also like to thank our co-presenter, AWS and AWS Signalr.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources via the internet, with pay-as-you-go pricing. Instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical data centers and servers, you can access technology services such as computing power, storage, and databases on an as-needed basis from a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services. Organizations of every type, size, and industry are using the cloud for a wide variety of use cases, such as data backup, disaster recovery, email, virtual desktops, software development and testing, big data analytics, and customer-facing web applications. For example, healthcare companies are using the cloud to develop more personalized treatments for patients. Financial services companies are using the cloud to power real-time fraud detection and prevention. And video game makers are using the cloud to deliver online games to millions of players around the world. With cloud computing, your business can become more agile, reduce costs, instantly scale, and deploy globally in minutes. Cloud computing gives you instant access to a broad range of technologies so you can innovate faster and build nearly anything you can imagine. From infrastructure services such as compute, storage, and databases, to Internet of Things, machine learning, data analytics, and much more. You can deploy technology services in a matter of minutes and get from idea to implementation several orders of magnitude faster than before. This gives you the freedom to experiment and test new ideas to differentiate customer experiences and transform your business, such as adding machine learning and intelligence to your applications in order to personalize experiences for your customers and improve their engagement. You don't need to make large upfront investments in hardware and overpay for capacity you don't use. Instead, you can trade capital expense for variable expense and only pay for IT as you consume it. With cloud computing, you access resources from the cloud in real time, as they're needed. You can scale these resources up and down to grow or shrink capacity instantly as your business needs change. Cloud computing also makes it easy to expand to new regions and deploy globally in minutes. For example, Amazon Web Services has infrastructure all over the world, so you're able to deploy your application in multiple physical locations in just a few clicks. Putting applications in closer proximity to end users reduces latency and improves their experience. No matter your location, size, or industry, the cloud frees you from managing infrastructure and data centers so you can focus on what matters most to your business.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
I'm Rafael Kisumbing.
I'm Grace.
Representing the R users group of the Philippines.
I'm the CEO and founder of Filter.
Very excited to share AWS UG Buildhurst Plus. I'm a volunteer and co-organizer.
Very important that you have the knowledge of what's the culture that you really want to put in place.
For us, it's really about finding really great, world-class digital and e-commerce talent. The Philippines has been a very good place to be.
Technology is actually a great equalizer. The community's inspiration is that, there's a safe space.
The fact that you joined, that's already a big step.
Having the platform of a very clear vision and values and a mission of the business and empowering people to make decisions.
This will not be the only episode that you will see. We will have a lot more. I'd also like to thank our co-presenter, AWS and AWS Signalr.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack. React.js Philippines. Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan. Angular Philippines. Phil IT Org. Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
AWS is the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. Millions of customers trust AWS to power their infrastructure and applications. Organizations of every type and size are using AWS to lower costs, become more agile, and innovate faster. AWS provides on-demand delivery of technology services via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. You can use these services to build and run virtually any type of application without upfront costs or ongoing commitments. You only pay for what you use. AWS gives you more services and more features within those services than any other cloud provider. This makes it faster, easier, and more cost-effective to move your existing applications to the cloud and to build anything you can imagine. From infrastructure technologies like compute, storage, and databases, to emerging technologies such as machine learning and artificial intelligence, data lakes and analytics, and Internet of Things. Building on AWS means you can choose the right tool for the job. For example, AWS offers the widest variety of databases that are purpose-built for different types of applications. With AWS, you can leverage the latest technologies to experiment and innovate more quickly. We are continually accelerating our pace of innovation to invent entirely new technologies you can use to transform your business. Like pioneering the serverless computing space with the launch of AWS Lambda, which lets developers run their code without provisioning or managing servers. And AWS built Amazon SageMaker, a fully managed machine learning service that empowers everyday developers and scientists to use machine learning without any previous experience. We are constantly expanding our global network of AWS regions, so you can access AWS services to build and run your applications from anywhere in the world. Each of these regions has multiple availability zones that are physically separated from each other and connected by low latency, high throughput, and highly redundant networking. This makes it easy to design and operate applications that are scalable, fault-tolerant, and highly available. Our infrastructure is built to satisfy the security standards of the most risk-sensitive organizations. You also have access to the AWS Partner Network, which has thousands of systems integrators who specialize in AWS services, and tens of thousands of independent software vendors who adapt their technology to work on AWS. With the largest community of customers across every industry, AWS has unmatched experience and operational expertise you can depend upon for your most important applications and every imaginable use case.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
I'm Rafael Kisumbing.
I'm Grace.
Representing the R users group of the Philippines.
I'm the CEO and founder of Filter.
Very excited to share AWS UG Buildhurst Plus. I'm a volunteer and co-organizer.
Very important that you have the knowledge of what's the culture that you really want to put in place.
For us, it's really about finding really great, world-class digital and e-commerce talent. The Philippines has been a very good place to be.
Technology is actually a great equalizer. The community's inspiration is that, there's a safe space.
The fact that you joined, that's already a big step.
Having the platform of a very clear vision and values and a mission of the business and empowering people to make decisions.
This will not be the only episode that you will see. We will have a lot more. I'd also like to thank our co-presenter, AWS and AWS Signalr.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
I'm Rafael Kisumbing.
I'm Grace.
Representing the R users group of the Philippines.
I'm the CEO and founder of Filter.
Very excited to share AWS UG Buildhurst Plus. I'm a volunteer and co-organizer.
Very important that you have the knowledge of what's the culture that you really want to put in place.
For us, it's really about finding really great, world-class digital and e-commerce talent. The Philippines has been a very good place to be.
Technology is actually a great equalizer. The community's inspiration is that, there's a safe space.
The fact that you joined, that's already a big step.
Having the platform of a very clear vision and values and a mission of the business and empowering people to make decisions.
This will not be the only episode that you will see. We will have a lot more. I'd also like to thank our co-presenter, AWS and AWS Signalr.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club AMA Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat!
AWS is the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. Millions of customers trust AWS to power their infrastructure and applications. Organizations of every type and size are using AWS to lower costs, become more agile, and innovate faster. AWS provides on-demand delivery of technology services via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. You can use these services to build and run virtually any type of application without upfront costs or ongoing commitments. You only pay for what you use. AWS gives you more services and more features within those services than any other cloud provider. This makes it faster, easier, and more cost-effective to move your existing applications to the cloud and to build anything you can imagine. From infrastructure technologies like compute, storage, and databases, to emerging technologies such as machine learning and artificial intelligence, data lakes and analytics, and Internet of Things. Building on AWS means you can choose the right tool for the job. For example, AWS offers the widest variety of databases that are purpose-built for different types of applications. With AWS, you can leverage the latest technologies to experiment and innovate more quickly. We are continually accelerating our pace of innovation to invent entirely new technologies you can use to transform your business. Like pioneering the serverless computing space with the launch of AWS Lambda, which lets developers run their code without provisioning or managing servers. And AWS built Amazon SageMaker, a fully managed machine learning service that empowers everyday developers and scientists to use machine learning without any previous experience. We are constantly expanding our global network of AWS regions, so you can access AWS services to build and run your applications from anywhere in the world. Each of these regions has multiple availability zones that are physically separated from each other and connected by low latency, high throughput, and highly redundant networking. This makes it easy to design and operate applications that are scalable, fault-tolerant, and highly available. Our infrastructure is built to satisfy the security standards of the most risk-sensitive organizations. You also have access to the AWS Partner Network, which has thousands of systems integrators who specialize in AWS services, and tens of thousands of independent software vendors who adapt their technology to work on AWS. With the largest community of customers across every industry, AWS has unmatched experience and operational expertise you can depend upon for your most important applications in every imaginable use case.
PWA Pilipinas would like to thank the following sponsors: Amazon Web Services, Apper.ph, Community Partners, Algo Filipino, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club Ama Computer College Caloocan, Angular Philippines, Phil IT Org, Computer Professionals Union. Maraming salamat! Okay, hello everyone. I'm Adesito de Guzman, the community lead for PWA Pilipinas, along with...
Hello, I'm Lem Adan. I'm part of the core team of PWA Philippines.
Okay, so welcome everyone to our last day. No, we have 2 talks today, but this is the last day, probably of our. We still have a raffle draw tomorrow, but this is the last day for the talks. So hopefully you will. You're going to enjoy tonight's talk. Yeah. Before we begin, we will be introducing our community first. So we are PWA Pilipinas. We are a community for makers, designers, and users of progressive web apps here in the country. Our mission is to introduce and nurture progressive web apps development and adoption in the Philippines and beyond by fostering a community for subject matter experts, enthusiasts, and adopters and developers of the platform, and by providing resources and engagement just like this to stimulate interest in progressive web apps, because our vision is that progressive web apps would be adopted widely here in the country. But what's that progressive web apps that I'm talking about? Well, progressive web apps are your web applications but are supercharged with native app-like features like having the ability to be installed, work offline, access hardware APIs, and work across all different devices and form factors. And with that, thank you for 2 amazing years. So we're entering our 3rd year. So thank you to everyone that made all of these possible, to all of the communities that we've partnered with, to all of to everyone that supported us and went to our events. So thank you for all of you. So with that, we had our anniversary celebration from August 7 till today. So we had our basic stock before August 7 to 14, and we also have our advanced from August 18 to 28 until today. So if you wanted to watch those previous talks, it'll be on our app. It'll be on our app. Just visit app.pwphilippines.org, or if you're on Google Play, you can get it there. Or it's if you have a Windows desktop, you can also get it from the Microsoft Store. We have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Discord as well. To join, bit.ly/pwA-discord. We have our Facebook group, Facebook page and group, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. We have our email if you want to send us anything. Our website. Okay, so let's not wait any longer. I'll be introducing our speaker for tonight, Jez Reel Maghuyop. Okay. Okay, so Lem, can you introduce our speaker?
Yes. So our speaker for tonight is Sister Jez Reel Maghuyop. So Jez Reel works as a technical advisor for a Norwegian company called Kongsberg Digital, and he's also one of the community leads of Angular Philippines. So Jez Reel is passionate about learning anything related to technology, and he also loves sharing his knowledge. And so tonight we will learn about the different transport protocols that a web browser supports and how to build a real-time web app using Signalr. So take it away, Mr. Jez Reel Maghuyop.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Nakamute.
Siguro yung mic is a little bit,
Hello?
medyo choppy lang
Hello?
siguro yung mic. Yan.
Rinig, I think napuputol.
Like the video is smooth, pero yung voice yung nawawala.
Just smile. Oops.
I think that's better.
Hello?
Ayan.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
So, sir.
Is there any background noise?
It's meron pero parang okay
Meron
lang.
po.
It's manageable.
Alright. Okay, so did I already share my screen? Try again. Alright, siguro I'll stop na lang din yung cam para medyo smooth yung
Yeah.
may effect sa connection. Okay. Alright, so again, thank you for introducing me. Again, my name is Jez Reel Maghuyop. You can visit my website at jezmaghuyop.com and as well as my GitHub repository. So, yeah, as Andre and Glenn mentioned, I am currently one of the community leads for Angular Philippines and currently a volunteer director for Algo Filipino. And then these are just some of the events that I've been to. Most of them are partnered with DevCon or some events from Angular Philippines and then some GDG events. So yeah, for tonight, our topic will be real-time application with Signalr Core and Azure Signalr service. So our agenda is to identify what is Signalr, understand the different duplex transmission, and then different transport protocols. And then also, I already have created 4 different application for the demo, but since we only have limited time, since there's someone else gonna talk after me, I'll try to discuss probably two demo application later. So first, what is Signalr? So Signalr is a library for adding real-time web functionality to applications. It allows server-side code to push content to connected clients that happens in real time. Signalr has abstracts over a number of different techniques for building real-time web application, such as WebSockets, server-sent events, and then long polling. So later we'll discuss the difference between these transport protocols. For Signalr, it uses WebSockets by default as the fastest and most modern way to write real-time web application. Automatic transport management is behind the idea of real-time communication in Signalr, and then it negotiates transport for each client as it connects. And then, so duplex transmission, we have 2 types of duplex transmission. One is the half duplex and the other one is the full duplex. So in half duplex mode, each station can both transmit and receive, but not at the same time. So, and then the entire capacity of the communication channel is taken over by whichever of the 2 devices is transmitting at the time. So if you look at the image here, as you can see, both of the this device or computer is able to send and then receive transmission or communication at the same time. Although the problem is it can't do both at the same time. No? So if someone is sending, the other one can just receive it. So one example of that transmission is a walkie-talkie. So if you're familiar with the walkie-talkie, when someone speaks on the other side of the line, they press something on the device, and then that allows them to speak speak, and then the rest of the device are just able to receive that transmission. So as you can see, it's just send and receive, but it can't do at the same time. No? Hindi siya kagaya ng cellphone. No? Kung gagawin natin sample ang cellphone, you can, habang nagsasalita kami, nagsasalita din sa kabila. No? So next is the full duplex. In full duplex mode, both stations can transmit and receive simultaneously. So again, looking at the image here, full duplex connections allow concurrent data transferring directions between client and server. So if computer A is sending data, it can also receive data at the same time, no? So it can send multiple requests to the server and can also receive multiple data from the server at the same time. That goes with the server as well. So let's assume computer B is our server here. So while computer A is sending, you can see computer B is also sending, and then computer A is receiving whatever computer B is sending in. Again, the great example would be a phone or a cell phone. Again, kapag nagko-call kayo, kapag nagsasalita ka, yung person on the other line can also talk, right? And then you can receive that information by hearing their voice. So hindi siya yung, ops, mamaya ka na magsalita. Ako muna. Hindi siya ganun. So let's familiarize ourselves first with the HTTP request. I'm guessing majority of you guys are familiar, but let's just revisit it. So HTTP request, what happens in a HTTP request is that the client, let's say the computer here is our client, will send a request to the server, and then the server will send a response message to the requesting client, and then so what happens is it sends a handshake, and then it opens the connection when you send a request, and then once the response is received, then it closes down the connection. That's it. If you want to open a new connection, you have to send another request. So that's just the basic of HTTP request. So with that, we're gonna go to the transport protocols. For transport protocols, we have long polling, a client requests in regular interval of time to the server. So in this image, we have client 1, client 2, and then we have a server. So for the example, this is a chat server. So what happens here is that for client 2, he's gonna send a request to the server asking for a new message. Right? So from here, it opens up a connection, and then it doesn't close down until someone from the other side, or if until the server sends what you need. No, so again, it opens up the connection here, and then from at this timestamp, client 1 sent a message, say hi there, and then now the server has something that he can send to the requesting client, which is in this case our client 2. So since client 1 already sent something, the server can send something as well to the client who originally requested some information to the server. And then it just happens again on multiple occasions or another request. So in here, the client again sent a request, and then it didn't take too long for client 1 to send something as well to the server, and then that information again is being sent back to the client, which is client 2. So for long polling, you'll notice that there's more of like a timeout, no, for this span. And then servers, we have server sent events. It is capable of sending data from server to client only. So it must be paired with the HTTP post transport. It also requires a connection already be established using the post and then your endpoint, then slash the negotiate request. You'll send that request to your you'll send out an HTTP post request using this URL, and what happens there is you get subscribed. You'll subscribe to the server, and then you don't have to occasionally ask the server for some data. So once the server has something, it will just keep on sending you until you closes the request or your connection. Again, for this example, we opened or we subscribed to the server, and then hanggat may mga information na nare-receive si server, the server will just keep on sending that back to you. So remember sa long polling, the client will keep on requesting sa server, hey server, do you have something for me? And then after 5 minutes, yes, I do have something, then it will send you something. And then after that, you'll have to open another request. Hey server, I need another updates. May mga bago ba tayong updated data dyan? Then after, let's say, 10 minutes, server receives something, so it will send back to the client. But for this one, the server sent events, you only subscribe once, and then server keeps on sending you updated data. So it's a from server to client only. So the client here cannot send any information to the server. So it's just gonna listen. Client does not need to request to the server. Next is the WebSockets. So it's a protocol that enables developers to open persistent connection and send data in real time between a client and the server. It always uses full duplex communication. Then a two-way channel between the client and the server is created, where either can send information to the other end of at any time. No? So here, it's mostly similar to server sent events, where you send a connect or open a connection, or you send a handshake to the server. So you connect to the server, and then whenever server has some new updates, it will just keep on sending you latest information. You just keep on receiving them. But the difference is you can also send latest information to the server. So let's say that information pertains to your personal records, like you change your last name. So you change your last name, you send it back to the server. Now, everyone who's looking at your personal information and is also subscribed to the server can receive that latest information na, hey, si Jez Reel, he just changed yung last name niya. Yeah. So, kasi you can send and then receive as well. That's the beauty of WebSockets. So, where can I use Signalr? So, common usage of Signalr is mainly social media platforms, multiplayer games, online document editing such as, let's say, Google Docs, streaming, financial tracker. Siyempre kasi kailangan updated ka sa mga latest na nangyayari sa stock market. Location-based application, probably such as Waze, online education, since we're on lockdown, it's more commonly being used right now. Mostly some e-learning application have some kind of whiteboard where a teacher can write something and then students can view whatever the teacher writes. As well as news sites. So we receive latest news. We don't have to keep on hitting F5 or refreshing the browser. And then same with weather forecast, no? So weather is predictable, pero sometimes 'di ba parang yun nga nagbabago sila ng sa real time na yung real time. Kumbaga kagaya dito, at this hour magbabago yung weather. So when that happens, you'll get notified or your information na nakita mo will change as well. So another thing that came out with the .NET Core when they released .NET Core with Signalr is that you can now allow it now allows streaming. So ASP.NET Core Signalr supports streaming from client to server and from server to client. This is useful for scenarios where fragments of data arrive over time. So yung main use case nito is if you have tons of data from your server that you want to push to your client, and most of the time, ang approach natin doon is we do a request to the server one time, right? We send an HTTP post or an HTTP request to an endpoint, and then the server will does its thing. It queries the information that you need. Let's say it's million or let's say thousand of records. Sometimes it takes time to get those information and then send it back to the client. With streaming, what it does is it allows the server to send available information to the client right away. So let's say you requested 1,000 user records, right? And then you only at this point in time the server only got 5. What happens is you can send that 5 immediately to the client, and then the client can immediately process it, and then it just keeps on sending as information comes from the server, or as the information is available from the server will just keep on sending those information down to the client rather than sending all 1,000 record at one. So it's available in ASP.NET Core. So when streaming, each fragment is sent to the client or server as soon as it becomes available rather than waiting for all the data to become available. So yun din yung sinabi ko kanina. And then note in Signalr, a hub method automatically becomes a streaming hub method when it returns IAsync enumerable with generic type, and then a channel reader, a task IAsync enumerable, or a task channel reader. So you don't have to do anything special as long as you set the return type of your method to any one of these 4. So we'll see a demo on that later. So are there any other alternatives? Yeah. So Google has Firebase, and then there's also nilagay ko lang dito yung mga medyo alam ko or parang mga famous na alternatives, which is yung Google Firebase, Socket.io, and then Pusher. I believe most of them are paid, paid services sila that you can subscribe or you can purchase siguro, and then you can also visit other available alternatives in this link. So Stackshare.io, Realtime Backend API. So how do I use Signalr? There are 2 ways that I know of. One is using a CDN. So we can immediately inject the source in your script tag, in your HTML file, like this. So there are 3 CDN resources that I know of is CDN, js.com, jsdeliver.com, and then unpackage.com, which has all 3 of them have the latest version of Signalr. Then the other one is using a package manager. So you can just easily type npm install @microsoft/Signalr. So for those of you are familiar with Signalr before, Signalr is dependent, has a dependency with jQuery. But when they release Signalr Core, they remove that dependency. So now you don't have to install, or you don't have to have jQuery available as one of your library, so that you can use Signalr. Again, you can use npm or using package manager, which you just have to type npm install Microsoft/Signalr. So for Signalr, there's multiple ways to communicate from server to client. I'm just gonna quickly read through them. So you have clients that all send a sync and then the name of the method. So meaning, if ako yung client and then I invoke this method, all of you who subscribe to the hub will receive whatever data that I'm passing in this one. And then you can also specify a specific connection. Let's say I'm connection 1, and then someone else connected and he's connection 2. So if I invoke this method, I can specify the specific connection ID, which is, let's say, connection 2. And then I'm going to invoke this method with the data, let's say, JSON object here. And then that person, whoever he is or she is, that has that connection ID will be the only one who can receive this data. And then you can also send multiple connection. So same with this one, but you can list down multiple connection IDs. And this one is client.caller send a sync, and then again method, and then some information. So for this one, whoever invokes, let's say I send a request to the hub, I'll be the one, ako yung caller, no? So if I send those information and then I send this or I invoke this method, ako lang mismo yung makaka-receive nitong information na to, no? So let's say I save something, no, some record, then I invoke that to the server, and then I invoke this as well. I can probably say your record has been successfully saved, no, caller, kasi ako lang yung makaka-receive nito, ako lang yung ma-notify. And then this the client that there's the opposite of client that caller. So meaning aside from you, everyone else will receive the information. And then you can also exclude specific connection IDs. So clients that all accept, and then list down all the connection IDs. And then group is very useful for applications such as a chat application, no? So of course you're familiar with the group chat. So you can have a group name, let's say PWA. So lahat lang ng under ng PWA na group can receive this information. So under that GC. And then you can also send or specify multiple group name to, and then send that information. And then others in the group, calls method on other connected clients in a specific group except the calling client. So lahat ng nasa group na yon, ng kung ano man yung group name na to, makaka-receive nung message na yon maliban sa akin. Ayan. All right. So again, since we have a limited time, let's jump on the demo. For some of you who's interested, you can again visit these repositories that are available. I have the drawing demo. Let's see. Then I have the map detection application, and then the stream data demo. That's available on my GitHub. You can download it and you can download it, you can play around it. And so let's try to recreate this application. So let me stop sharing, then I'm gonna just reshare real quick. So just give me a couple of seconds. I'm just opening some of my code editors. Can you guys see my screen? All right, let me reshare my screen. All right, I think you guys can see my screen now. All right. Um, I have this application available then as a demo. Um, and let's just see what the finished product does. So I'm opening two browsers. So this is a chalkboard. Yeah, so whenever I write something here, oops, let me refresh this. And whenever I write something, the other can see it. So I'm just gonna clear the board, and then the other can clear it as well. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. Already have the styling pre-made. So let's just go to the localhost 8080. All right. So the basic functionality is already here. The only problem here is if I open another window, let's say it's in incognito, if I write something, it's not being sent to the other clients. No? So the other clients can see it. So what we'll do is let's go to the My Visual Studio 2019. Let's give it a second. I'm just opening up my Visual Studio. All right, so here we go. Medyo tinatapak siya yung mag-full screen. Alright, so it's just gonna do it like this. So if you create a bare .NET application, what I just did is I added the new project. So it's a ASP.NET Core, and it's just an empty ASP.NET Core application. So, and then in here, I just added this course policy so that my client can connect to this in this server. Oops. So let's just say this is course policy. Oops. Right, just let me reshare. Right. So again, this is just the course policy, which is I added. So originally, this is empty. So I just added again this course policy so that my client can connect to this server. And then I enabled Signalr by adding this service that add Signalr. And then I've enabled some of the options that are available, which is to send us a detailed error. Then I added the course policy as middleware in here. And then I created a hub. So we're going to connect to this server from the localhost/draw. So what I'll do is I'm going to create a hub. So I have a hub folder here. So let me just add a class. This is going to be drawing hub.cs. Right, so I'm just gonna quickly do this. I have gonna reference hub from Signalr library. You know what? Let me just manually type it. So I'm gonna use Microsoft that ASP.NET Core Signalr. And then I'm gonna create a connection object override asynchronous task on connected async. So async task. So now I'm gonna reference this to the startup class. If it's already available under drawings.hubs. Yep, it's a correct location. And then let's quickly jump back to our just gonna stop this. And let's open the script. So this is the script that I currently have for the client side. What I'll do is I'll create unsent strokes, which is an array. So what this array will hold later is all of the information on the board so that when new users join, they can get the old data. So we're gonna send this back to them. Then I'm gonna set the server URL. It's gonna be HTTPS localhost 5001. And then I'm gonna create so on load. So once this file loads up, I'm gonna create a connection. So post connection is equal to new signal r dot oops hub connection builder with URL server URL, and then our endpoint, which is the draw. So let's just add some logging. Configure logging signal r dot log level. Let's say if there's any error, that's the only log that's important to us. So by the way, what I use here, since this is just a basic HTML application, I've used the CDN. I didn't use the Node Package Manager. All right. Next is let's create two event listeners. One is connection.on. Let's name it new strokes or share strokes. And then we have then we're gonna invoke we have a draw method here. So this draw method accepts two parameters, so start and end. So as you can see here, this free form is whenever we draw on the canvas, we get the start coordinate and then the end coordinate, which is as you can see here, the X and Y. So basically we're just printing it based from the coordinates. Yeah, so we get the start and end, and then we're passing it to this method, and then this is responsible for printing that printing it to the canvas, which is we have a stroke style of white. So that's why our chalk is color white. So in here, in our connection on share stroke, we're just gonna call the draw as well, because we're gonna receive information from the server. So basically, this is just a shorthand. This could be start and end, and then start end. All right, so I'm just gonna make it real short, like this. All right, and then what I'll do is I'll start the connection. Let's start. And then it's gonna console.log you are connected to the server. Then if there's any error, let's just catch it. Error. Right. So let's save this. And then let's go back to the server. What we'll do is we'll create the new stroke. So let me say private static list of stroke. strokes is equal to new this. So this is where we're gonna store all of the drawing from the canvas. So I have already created a model, which is let's go to the coordinate first. Coordinate is just a float, x and y, and then I have this stroke, which is start and end, which is a type of coordinate. So start contains x and y, end contains x and y. Let me quickly build this. So while that is building, like I said, oops, this is the connection unconnected status. So I'm gonna create public. What's the name of our method? It's new strokes. Strokes. It's going to be a I enumerable stroke. Then let's name it as new strokes. So we'll just add all the data that's being sent from the client in our list. I'm just create a asynchronous task, which gonna new stroke that select. Clients dot others. So lahat ng nakakonect maliban sa akin, since this is others. Share strokes. Strokes. So I'm just gonna send the start and then end. And let's await. And then when all of that is finished, I'm gonna send it down to the client. Right. Should build. Build failed. Right. So let me just do this real quick since I think I only have what 10 minutes, I guess. So what I'll do is just open the existing or working application. Then I guess I'll just gonna explain that real quick. So let me just close this. Right. So while the Visual Studio 2019 is still loading up our server side, let me just go through this application. So um, yeah, so we already did this, the unsigned stroke and then the server URL. And then we created a connection. So we already did this. And then we created a listener. No? So Signalr event listeners share stroke. So share stroke are being invoked in, let's go to our server. Yeah. So whenever someone writes, whoever that person is gonna call new stroke. So we have a new stroke here. Yeah, new stroke. So remember, this is draw. So this is drawing the coordinates on the board. Then after that, it invokes your new stroke. No? So we invoke new stroke kapag tapos na magsulat or habang nagsusulat. We invoke new strokes. And so ito yung si new stroke. So after mo invoke si new strokes, in-store lang natin yung kung ano man yung sinulat niya. Lahat ng sinulat niya in-store natin dito sa strokes na object natin. And then and each of the coordinates kasi nakalist yan. So lahat ng stroke, start, end, x and y, so madami 'yon, 'di ba? Isipin mo madaming tuldok yan na pinagdugtong-dugtong. So madami tong laman. Nandito siya sa new stroke. So parang niluloop lang natin yan dito. Tapos all of that information or each strokes is sinesend natin sa share stroke. So lahat ng naka-listen dito sa event na to, maliban sa kung sino man yung nagsusulat kasi naka-others to. So lahat ng naka-listen sa event na to, maliban sa nagsusulat, will receive this information. So let's try to run this. And then let me try to run the front end as well. So let's just wait for the server to run. Let me close this and then run again. Let's see if since I was able to connect. So let me try and open up a incognito. So it's working. So again, what's happening here, if I draw this, it invokes the new stroke. And then again, new stroke calls this share stroke. So lahat lahat ng information na nandito from here to here to here to here to here to here hanggang sa mabotong line na to, lahat yan nakastore yan dun sa object natin, which is being sent naman dito sa kabila using itong share strokes na to, since we are listening to the share stroke event. Then once ma-receive natin yung information na yun, so let's say so merong log si ano. Oops. So we send this information, and then the other one will, since listening siya, once ma-receive niya yung information na yon, ito draw niya lang ulit to. So we're just reusing this method to draw. So the reason bakit tayo naglagay ng unsent na object is para, let's see if it's working, para kapag may mga late na, let's say you're on a e-learning class, no? Kung may late na students, so let's say late ako, yan. Kahit late ako dumating sa klase, nare-receive ko pa rin siya kasi lahat ng information na yan naka-store dito sa strokes natin. And then meron akong unconnected na event. Yan. Kapag naka-connect ako, so ako yung new user, kaka-join ko lang, we're pulling data from the strokes. So remember, we're storing everything here. So lahat na naka-store dyan, again, kinocall lang natin yung share stroke. So, kaya kahit late na ako dumating, nakukuha ko pa rin yung information. So, yun yung isang sample natin with Draw. Again, this sample application is available sa GitHub repo ko. I'm just gonna quickly tackle yung ano. I'm just gonna stop this and then I'm gonna show quickly the stream one. I hope 4 minutes is enough, but let's see. The stream application is built using Angular. So pretty simple lang naman yung setup na meron siya. So ito yung bare. Let me open the complete version. Right, so while waiting for the ng serve to finish, again, this is just a pretty simple Angular application. So this is a let's say movie list Angular application. I have 2 samples sana dito sa application na to, which is a stream of random numbers. So assuming now we're trying to get how many with this 100,000 data from the server. And then again, once those data are available, we don't have to wait na matapos ni server yung 100,000, no? So the startup file is just similar to what I have earlier. So the only difference is I named the endpoint stream. Then I also have the stream hub. So let's go to the stream hub. So this is the get random number. Remember, we have this in our front end. Oops. So we have that in our front end. Then it accepts an integer of number of iterations. So minimimic lang natin, kunyari madaming data kinukuha sa server. Then we have the cancellation token so that kapag na-disconnect yung isang nagre-request, we don't have to complete yung 100,000. Kung na-disconnect na siya sa 100 numbers, then it's gonna exit here. So again, I'm just creating a channel, create unbound, and then it's a type integer. Then we're calling this random method that accepts a channel writer, which is ito, channel.writer, and then pinapass lang ulit natin iteration, same with the cancellation token. So we're just creating a random number here. We are checking if the cancellation token is requested. So that means mag-throw na yan ng error and then it stops, no? But if not, it's just gonna keep on continue. So mag-create siya ng random number and then it's gonna write on the channel writer and then we'll just keep on sending that. So kapag nakapagsulat na siya 1 to 10, send na agad yun. Tagal tumandar ng NG server. Let me try to run this. Right, so it ran. So now we're just waiting for our Angular to run. I'm gonna try and run its console na lang para mabilis. Para makisama ng ating machine today. Hopefully ito. And then the other one is, the other method that I have is get random movies. So for this one, we are calling, let's say, dependency sa isang microservice. In this case, I'm calling some random content dito sa API na to, which is itong api.realgood.com. Diyan ako kumukuha ng, let's say, ng mga random movies, which is, I believe, Netflix tong kinukuha niya. And I'm just gonna parse yung return object niya. So actually, pwede natin to puntahan. So yan lang siya, random number from Netflix. I mean, random movie from Netflix. So pinaparse ko lang yung data and then creating the banner image, which is yun yung i-display natin sa front end. So once I have that, I'm just gonna write it sa channel writer. And then, so right? Yeah. So once it writes the information sa channel writer, it will just read it. Just gonna return the reader. So hanggang sa matapos siya. So unti-unti yung data. And medyo nagbi-build na yung ng-serve. Okay tong machine kanina eh. Ano pa nangyari? Waiting for this, hopefully. Sobrang tagal na ngayon. Walang pa na yung nag-run sa machine na ano. Kumakain ng resources ko ngayon. And then again, siguro i-flash ko na lang din yung ano. Again, ito, if interested kayo to download, it should work sa mga machine nyo right away. It's already working. These two, I already have this deployed in Azure. As you can see yung demo na link kanina. And then this one, I'll try to deploy it siguro today. Itong stream with Signalr. But again, you can grab the repo sa GitHub ko and play around. It should work immediately after nyo download or i-clone sa mga local machine nyo. I'm just having a hard time with my machine right now or today specifically. Kanina, hindi naman siya ganito. Alright, siguro dito na lang muna yung talk. Kasi may next pa. Ayan, teka. Pinagbigyan tayo ng konti. Ayan na natin. Localhost for 200. Alright. Real quick. Try natin 1 minute. Naghang pa yung mouse. Right. I'm just gonna open the console. I'm gonna go to the network. Right. So let's go back to the code. So I have a button, remember, connect. So basically, I'm just same thing na ginawa natin kanina dun sa HTML draw application, just connecting to the hub. And I have a stream. So naglagay lang din ako ng additional option, which is automatic reconnect. Kunyari, nawalan ako ng internet. After 2 seconds to reconnect, and then kapag wala pa rin ako internet, after 5 seconds, it will try to reconnect, and then 10 seconds to reconnect. So, ilang siya. And then once we're connected, we'll get this message, or we'll log this message. You are connected. Thank you. So, that's it, right? So, let's click the, let's go to the network. Let's clear. Let's go all. Then let's connect. Alright, so let's go first dito sa oh my god, this machine. Ayan, so you are connected. Parang may nagmimina ng Bitcoin yung machine ko. Right, so we'll get this request, WebSocket request. Let's click. Wow, parang mamamatay na yung machine. Right. Yeah, we got this request, and then we'll try the random number. So remember, I'm having a console log. Not pala yung nantiyan ko lang yung hindi 100,000. Saan ba tayo? 10,000 pa lang. Ang tagal. Let's remove that. That's 1,000. Ayan, siguro, I think dito na lang talaga. Parang nagloloko talaga yung machine today. Let's connect. Let's get random numbers. So you'll see the data from WebSockets if you click this. Nakita mo silang nag-stream or nagkukuha ng data. So, yan. The other one is the get movies. So, yan. Iteration. So, if I refresh this, it stops, no? Sa 10. Although ang request ko dyan is 20. That's because of the cancellation token. If you guys remove this and then you refresh the request, it will just keep on continue, no? Which is something na hindi nyo gustong mangyari kasi wala naman ang ginagawa. Run real quick. Right. So, basta ganun siya. Make sure na lagyan nyo ng cancellation token para kapag nag-disconnect yung isang user, it will stop, no? Kasi that's the end of it. Otherwise, it will just keep on requesting lang sa ma-fulfill niya yung request mo na, 20? Ganun yung mangyayari. Yan, so, hanggang naman siya agad. Problem lang is kung makapunta tayo sa browser. Okay, so sige, end na lang natin siguro dito. Basta gano'n lang naman yung gagawin niya. Nagko-console log siya. So it will stop. Let's see. Wait natin sila Andre tsaka si Lem bumalik. So pag na-refresh ko to, you can see it, nagre-request pa rin siya ng request. So, yun lang gusto ko actually pakita. Alright. Hello guys.
Ayan. Hello. Ayan. Magandang demo na naman. Gamit ang Signalr. Ayan. Pakinggan natin. And, Jez, no? Ang daming tanong dito at daming...
May mga shoutout dito.
Pato ang bagalong PC.
Sige. Unahin natin yung mga shoutout kanina.
Sige. Shout out.
Meron dito sa Facebook. Ayan.
Ayan to. Sabi ni Albert.
Evening, PUP Maragondon. Ayan. Hello sa mga taga PUP Maragondon.
Good evening sa inyo.
And kay Princess Barcelona. Ayan. Mention niya ata yung ayan. Tapos kay Nursalim. Nursalim Jr. Hi. From Germany daw siya. Ayan.
Wow. Ano ba doon ngayon? Umaga?
May international viewers tayo. Okay, I think yun lang. So, proceed na tayo sa Q&A.
Okay.
Sige.
Ayun.
So, first question natin kay Narsalim din. So, sabi niya, what is an object server in client server environment? Tsaka super servers. Ayan. Pag-isay na natin yung tanong niya.
Ano yung una? Object servers.
Object servers. So, ayan. Ayan.
What is an object server in client server environment?
And super
What are
servers.
super servers in client server environment? Di ako actually familiar sa ano yung hinaan niya dito sa question niya, no? Sa super servers. In a client server environment.
Dami niyan to. Web server din daw.
In client server environment. Hindi ko sure ano yung gusto niyang...
I think more into siguro sa more details sa question ni Nancy. So, sige.
Kasi web server.
Next natin
in a client
is
server environment.
ayun, sa kanya din yung next question. Sir, what is server push in Signalr daw?
Server push, I think it's different, no, sa ano ba yung term? Yung server push usually term yan na ginagamit sa mga push notification. And that's, I think, a little bit different from what Signalr is doing. Server push, ang ginagawa niyan is it sends yung server, it sends data from the server to your browser. And then remember yung mga kapag ano ba to, mga PWA usually ganun di ba? Yung do you want to allow yung mga push notifications, di ba? May yes or no. If you say yes, then your machine allows yung mga server push or yung mga push notification from the server. Si Signalr is a little bit different than that. Kasi si Signalr is once na, it uses yung WebSocket technology where once you subscribe to the server and then yung sa sample ko kanina, you have a different listener, no? You set up different listener. And then kapag nag-push ng data yung server to one of those listener, you'll get those information. While yun nga, yung server push, as long as mag-yes ka dun sa browser, you want to receive push or enable push notification. Pag ni-yes mo yun, lahat ng isasend sa'yo ng server, kuha mo yun kasi ni-yes mo na While yun nga, yung sa server, Signalr, you can still specify a specific na kumbaga hub method na gusto mong i-listen. So kung gusto mo lang mag-listen sa messages na galing sa friend mo, yun, di ba? Parang makukuha mo yung mga messages na yun.
Okay. Ayun. So next question is sa kanya din galing. Ayan. Sabi niya, what is real-time web functionality?
Yan. So, real-time web functionality is to allow yung pag-get nung mga information on a real-time basis na hindi mo kailangan mag-refresh. Diba? So, once the data, remember dito sa drawing na application natin, once available yung data sa server, you get it real-time as a client, no? Kasi nakasubscribe ka na dun sa server. Normally, ang gagawin natin dyan, magre-refresh tayo, di ba? Parang magre-refresh tayo na, hey server, may bago bang data dyan, magre-refresh ka na magre-request. Pero real-time kasi is, ayun nga, as long as the server has something, you'll get it in a real-time manner. So, kaya nga, kapag nagsulat tayo dito, that's real-time, di ba? Kapag nagsusulat ako, nakukuha ng kabila. Well, as yung mga old technology natin is, nagre-refresh ka pa, di ba? Oops, yun na pala yung latest. As magsusulat ulit dito, kanyari lang, hindi niya nakuha, no? Kanyari, hindi niya nakuha yun. So, may bago pang sinulat yung teacher ko, nagre-refresh ka pa. So, yun yung...
So, ano pa ba?
And again, hindi lang naman Signalr yung technology na may ganun. No? Yung na-mention ko kanina, yung Firebase, yung pa ba isa. Basta yan. Madaming technology na ganyan. Signalr lang kasi is mostly specific sa .NET framework. And so yung client nila, you can use Signalr sa client side ng JavaScript, Java, .NET, ano pa ba? I think they have SDK for Python ata. Pero yung server mo for Signalr, it's only .NET. Kung mag-set up ka ng server. Tapos yun nga, Signalr is free. Kasi ikaw yung mismo mag-set up eh. Unlike yung mga Firebase, you have to purchase yung subscription ata.
Okay. So, thank you so much for that. So, I think
Ojong Martinez.
yan, may comment siya. Yan.
Doesn't translate present panel. Hindi niya sabihin na.
Yan, nangyayari yan minsan na minsan hindi mo rin nakukuha yung mga information. Pero sa experience ko mostly sa setup siya at sa configuration para sa mga connection. And then si Azure, si Azure meron siyang Azure Signalr service. So instead na yung typical na application na Signalr mo is naka-deploy as a web app, you can deploy it as Azure Signalr service where it handles na yung mga scaling, then handles yung multiple connection, unlike yung typical na deployment mo as web app lang na isang app lang siya, tapos yun lang yung mismo nag-handle ng mga connection. Minsan nawawalan ng connection, so hindi mo nakukuha yung mga latest data. So nangyayari din yun talaga. Mostly configuration, setup, tsaka mga network. Ito na wala yung
yan. So, may comment lang din si Code. So,
yep.
Paneling is caching and needs to be pushed.
So, depende din yan sa mga scenario na gusto nyo i-handle. Minsan kasi okay lang yung yung caching. Okay lang siya na hindi clear. Pero yun nga, depende siya sa use case. If it's okay dun sa ginagawa ng application, or if not, you really want to get yung uncached version, then definitely you have to clear them. Pero then again, depende siya sa use case niya kung paano siya gagamitin. Minsan kasi okay lang yung caching, parang ganun eh. Okay lang siya na hindi kiniklear.
Ay, sabi ni Len Eric La Olazo. Good evening.
Good evening din. Salamat. Hi from
Just
Philippines. Ayan. Hello.
Hello from world. Hello from world.
Siya ay taga-Pilipinas siya.
Ayos.
Sabi naman ni Pojong Martinez, there is no super server.
Pala yan. Kasi alam mo yung tanong kanina eh, hindi ako familiar dun sa super server nga ng client server environment. Eh. So, sinagot ni Sir Pojong Martinez.
Tapos there is only server which is utilized.
Yep.
Real-time or asynchronous code.
Yep.
Okay, so ayun. So ito may few questions na lang tayo. Ito kay Norsaline din. Ayan. Sabi niya, what are the difference between ASP.NET, Signalr and ASP.NET? For Signalr.
Yeah, so main difference nila, yung na-mention ko kanina is yung Signalr core, hindi siya dependency sa jQuery. Yung old version kasi ng Signalr, dependent siya sa jQuery. So you can't run it kapag hindi mo rin ginagamit yung jQuery. So alam naman natin jQuery mabigat siya. And so kagaya nitong application na itong ginawa ko, nakita nyo naman yung reference script ko, ano lang, talagang Signalr lang, wala akong ibang nilagay na script, nag-work na siya. So yun yung isang main difference. And then other differences, yung mga added features such as yung stream. I'm not sure if na available yung stream sa old version ng Signalr, pero yun nga sa core, you can use yung stream version where you'll get a fragment of data, no? So let's say 1,000 records, you can get yung data na kung ano yung available, let's say 10, okay na yan, display na natin yan or get it, yung 10 data na yan. So that's one. Ano pa ba? I'm not sure if you can plug in all Signalr sa Azure Signalr service to handle yung multiple connections, yung scaling. Yan, hindi ako sure kung ano yan. And then, ano pa ba yung mga difference? Yung added feature ng message pack, although hindi ko pa siya nagamit, pero yun yung pag-send ng byte size din ng data. So, yung typical kasi na sinasend na data is JSON object, pero message pack ata yung tawag doon. You can send it as yung parang byte lang. Tapos encrypted siya. So, madaming enhancements sa Signalr core. And yun nga, parang hindi na ata sinusupport. Magawala lang nag-maintain ata nung Signalr. I could be wrong, no? Pero I'm pretty sure na since lumabas na yung core na mas okay, siguro hindi na nila maintain yung old version. Sa core na sila talaga nakafocus.
Okay.
So, sabi niya, okay daw.
Sabi din niya, what are the difference? Ito rin yung tanong.
Same question lang, naulit lang. Ayun, I guess wala nang questions to, and ayun, medyo overtime na rin tayo. Ayan, last shout out from Christian Pitorbo. Ayan, good if PW Philippines from Udemy University.
Ano daw? From Udemy University daw, bumabati daw. Yes. Ayan.
Hello, Udemy University. Pahingin naman ng free subscription.
Ayun.
So, ano tayo, no? Konting reminder lang tayo, guys, no? About our happening itong, sa PWA Pilipinas. So, magkakaroon tayo ng, no? We have an app of PWA Pilipinas app. Download nyo sa Google Play Store, sa Microsoft, at saka sa PWA Web App. At saka follow nyo kami sa Facebook, sa Twitter, at saka sa LinkedIn, no? Sa PWA Pilipinas. At saka din yung Angular PH din, no? Follow nyo rin, no? Sa Facebook. Ano ba social media ninyo, Jez?
Right now, alam ko, Facebook lang ata yung meron. We're planning to set up yung LinkedIn then. Pero wala pa. Pero we'll have that. And then we're building yung website. So, syempre kapag available na yung website, you'll see everything naman doon. Pati yung social media, pati yung mga events. So, yan. Look forward na matapos din yung website. Pretty soon.
Kaya mag-abang-abang kayo guys. Tutok lang kayo dito para makapag-follow kayo sa mga social media ng ating mga community partners. Ayan. So, for more information, if you want to ask naman sa community natin sa PWA Pilipinas, email us at hi@pwapilipinas.org. Ayan, once again, hi@pwapilipinas.org. Tapos, bisitahin nyo ang website natin, pwapilipinas.org. Ayan, at saka salamat sa ating mga sponsors, sa AWS, Omniquotient, Angel Hack, React.js Philippines, Google Developer Student Club, AMA Computer College, Caloocan, Algo Filipino, AngularJS Philippines, Philippine Information Technology Organization, Computer Professionals Union, at saka ang upper.ph. Kaya
For our StreamYard subscription. Yeah.
Ay oo, talaga nagpapasalamat tayo sa sa ating StreamYard subscription, sa upper.ph. At saka if you want to become a volunteer, please email us at hi@pwapilipinas.org para makausap namin kayo, ma-entertain natin ang ating mga bagong volunteers. At saka, ito naman ang ating mga partner, ganap. Omniquotient. Ayan, mag-sign in lang kayo dito para makapag-post kayo, makapag-share kayo ng mga iba't ibang mga resources at saka mga code kagaya niya, no? At saka magkapagtanong kayo ng mga iba't ibang uri ng mga tanong dito sa Omniquotient website. Ayan. At saka meron tayong tinatawag na hacking of the future of technology ng New Energy Nexus. Ayan, sali tayo dito, guys. At saka sa mga ganap ng Angular Philippines, no? So, kailan yung susunod? Yung kay Getting...
Last na yan, last na. Last na yung kanina kay Santosh.
Kanina, oo.
Na yan.
Sabay pala kayo.
Nasabay kami.
Sabay pala kayo.
Last na yan kanina. So, yung next cycle niyan siguro mga October na ulit yung mga bagong topics.
Kaya mag-abang-abang kayo, guys. Ha? Tutok lang kayo dito sa Angular Philippines. Ha? At saka sumali kayo dito sa Build a Modern Data App ng Data Stacks. No? So visit nyo yung bit.ly/pwpilipinas-ph for more information. No? Gagamit tayo dito ng AstraDB database para makagawa ng mga application. At saka yung NASA's International Space Apps Challenge happening on October 2 to 3. Please visit spaceapps.co for more information. That is October 2 to 3. We're celebrating the 10th year anniversary of Space Apps. NASA partners with nine space agencies around the world to engage citizens around the world to free and open source space data. Kaya sumali lang kayo dyan. O Jess, baka gusto mo mag-mentor rin dito.
Sige, basta available. Nasa tayo dyan.
Yan again October 2 to 3, NASA's International Space Apps Challenge. Space Apps.
2 days lang. 2 days lang po na siya.
Mag-ano lang kayo, join na.
Summit din.
Ayan, meron pang tayong PWA Summit on October 6 and 7. So, sali din kayo dito sa PWA Summit para matuto tayo ng iba't ibang mga technology around progressive web apps. So,
sa inyo din yan?
Global ito. Global, iba't ibang uri ng mga mga technology.
International yung mga speaker na dyan, no?
Yes. Yan Kung gusto yung makapakinig sa mga international na ganap dyan sa Progressive Web App, sumali kayo dito sa pwsummit.org on October 6 to 7. Di ba libre ito, Maklem, Free ba ito?
Oo, yeah.
Libre yan, pati yung mga nakaraang mga ganap din, libre yung libre din yung mga hackathon, Sali lang kayo ng sali, guys, So, yun, Kaya gusto natin, ang inyong feedback, Gusto namin kayong marinig, sa inyong feedback. Ano ba nararamdaman nyo? Ano ba ang natutunan ninyo dito sa ating episode ng PWA Pilipinas? So, visit bit.ly/pwa-form. Once again, bit.ly/pwa-form. Ito yung ating, kung pwede kayong mag-scan itong QR code, Basta mag-sign in lang kayo dito kasi meron tayong guys, giveaway. Ayan, sino bang gustong manalo ng ganitong mga t-shirt na ito? Limited edition po ito ng PWA na t-shirt with AWS. Kaya sumali lang kayo sa PWA form. Magkakaroon tayo ng raffle sa August 29.
Bukas. Yan, last day ng raffle bukas.
Kaya kung ako sa inyo, mag-register na kayo. Ayun, wag nyo na paabutin bukas, Ngayon na. Para malaman namin ng inyong feedback, Bukas na yung ating draw. At saka, ito yung mga nakaraan nating winner. Congratulations kay Krisha Mercado at saka kay Christopher. Saka, yun na yata. Yun na ba? Yun na ba ang last, Yun na ba ang last na, Okay. Sige.
Pag di kayo sumalo sa raffle, ako lang mananalo doon.
Yan, pag sumali.
Anyway, yeah. So,
ito,
thank you so much, Sir Jez, for being with us tonight, for sharing your knowledge and skills. So, ayan, meron pang pahabol. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Pahabol pa, Jez. Nagpapasalamat. Thank you daw. Jez, before we end the show, any last words? Ano final?
Ayun, so again, thank you for inviting me to be one of the speakers sa PWA Pilipinas second year anniversary, and hope na there's more to come pa. And kahit na hindi anniversary, I'm hoping na madami pa kayong event. And congratulations, I think you have a successful event. Thank you. And thank you din sa mga weekly na nanonood dito sa PWA Pilipinas, sa mga learners natin. Just keep it up din sa side nyo. Kami din, keep it up kami para marami din kami mag-share. So, basta maraming nanonood na namin mag-share.
May inspire kami dito, no? Pag kayo ay nakikinig, kayo ay nagtatanong, kami rin ay na-inspire din upang mag-share ng mga kaalaman namin regarding technology. Kaya nagpapasalamat kami sa inyo sa panonood dito sa ating episode ng PWA Pilipinas. Ayan. Nagpapasalamat din si Norsalim. Thank you, Mentor Jez. Talaga maraming salamat, Jez. Ngayon, bago tayo magkakaroon tayo.
Wait lang. Sir Jez, in case lang na meron pa silang questions, no? How can they
may matanong pa.
sa kanila pwedeng makita?
Kaya na ako pwede makita? Ano yun? Sa Facebook na lang. ID na lang ako sa Facebook. Sabihin nyo, makatag ba ako sa PWA Pilipinas? Yan.
Okay. Sige lang, sorry. Ano yan?
Ayun. Okay. Mag-picture muna tayo. Okay. Picture muna, yung normal picture.
Ay, oo.
Yung normal muna.
Normal lang?
Normal. Tingin sa camera. 5. 1, 2. Wait lang. Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3. Yan. Okay. Tapos meron pa tayong voltage 5 post. Yes. Paborito
na. Ayan. Nabangan ko talaga yan.
Voltage 5 na yan.
Saan ba ako?
Saan ba yan? Dito ako eh. Ayan. Dito na. Para makapindot ako ng button dito.
Ayan.
Balikan.
Teka. Yan.
Ayan.
Borute. Ready.
Okay na yan.
Voltage 5.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Tama.
Delete si
Okay.
5. Okay.
Amen.
Okay. Okay tayo dito.
Sayang nanda.
Yeah.
Philippines, province of China. Grabe ka naman. Okay.
Hindi ako Chinese
Okay guys, bago tayo umalis, ngayon meron tayong sapang talk Si Rob naman, no? Tutok siya ng sapang topic.
Kabilang stream.
Nanonood din kami nila Maplit sa college. Makikin.
Okay lang, last na to. This is the second to the last and the last day na to.
Last day na. Okay. Sige. Okay, muli, no? Kami ay mula sa PWA Pilipinas, kami ay nagpapasalamat sa inyo. Ako si Michael Lance at kasama ko si
Lem. And si Sir
Jez Reel.
Si Jez Reel ng Angular. Muli, tayo ay magkita muli sa PWA Pilipinas. Okay.
Bye-bye.